you will ask some of the people that we thought were the most appropriate to the topic of today, which is active citizenship and the future of Europe. Please.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Antonio Tajani. I am the new president of the European Parliament. I have a daughter, I have a son. And for me, it's very important to speak with you, to have this direct contact with the students. For me, it's more important to speak with you than to speak with the most important politicians in Europe. Not because I am against the politicians, but I think my engagement is in favor of the citizens. You are European citizens, but you are also the future of the European Union. We need your engagement. We need to build a dream for you. Europe is not only the internal market, is not only the banks, is not only the euro, is not only Schengen, is not only the rules, is not only the decision on the red wine, or the trans-European network. Of course, there are many problems, but first of all, Europe is our identity, is our future. You are the future of the Europe. We need Europe also in this region. The situation in the Balkans is very complicated. We need stability, because also the Balkans are Europe. They are the European Union, but they are Europe. But Europe also is an opportunity for everybody, for your future, for your work. Of course, for us it's important to look at your interest. Not only economic interest, but also it's important to speak to your heart. I know very well the young people, because I know the friends of my daughter and my son. They are students. No, my daughter is a psychologist. She completed the study many months ago. My son is a student at the university. I am working for my son, for my daughter, but also for you. And we need to reduce the distance between the European Union and the young people. We need to explain why we need Europe. Europe is the dream, is also our identity. We are our heritage. We are our history. It's a bridge between the new generations. For many years, to be citizen of one country or another country was to be against. Today, the Italian minority in Slovenia is a bridge between Slovenia and Italy. The Slovenian minority in Italy is a bridge between Italy and Slovenia. There are a lot of minorities, but the minorities are an opportunity. Our identity is the same. I am Italian, we are Slovenian, but our history, our heritage is the same. Visiting Ljubljana today, there is a Roman heritage, the same heritage. The cathedral is similar to the many churches in Rome. This is not only the history, it's not only a cultural level. It's our identity. But we need to work also for the future. We need to explain to the young people why Europe is important. Peace and freedom is today, it's normal to live in peace, to be freedom. But in the past, during the Second World War, it's impossible to live in peace. For many centuries, Europe lived without peace. Now we are living in peace. We are freedom. The only one continent without death penalty, it's Europe. Everyone is in the center of the world. This is important. Also to export our identity, our values is important. To strengthen human rights is our identity, it's our job. To work for peace in the Mediterranean countries, in the Balkan countries, in Africa, in the Middle East, it's our engagement. It's my work, and will be your work when you will be protagonists in your society after the university. For this, we need to work now well against the distances between the European institutions and the citizens. For this, I want to speak with you today. I want to answer to your questions today, not only as a politician, as a European, as a father, because I think the direct contact is crucial. This building, this European building, is a real embassy of the European Union to your country. It's an open house for the citizens, for the young people. We need to organize more meetings with the young people. And we need to know your question, and we need not stupid answers or official answers. We need to have concrete answers. It's better to answer. It's impossible to do it. Then yes, it's possible for us. I think it's important to be serious with the young people. We need your engagement. We need to strengthen your personal dream and also the European dream with you. But I think now is the time for your question. I'm ready for, I hope, good answer. Not too much difficult question, but you will have my answer. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ferrari. We have, from all the questions we received, identified 3 that we thought were very much directly on the topic. So I will call you who have presented some of the good questions that we thought were really the ones right on the topic, to the first 3 to ask those questions one by one. Please present yourself. You can ask it in Slovenian or in English. We have interpretation. So I would ask...
Slovenian, too much complicated.
Yes, I know. But the first one is Anya Fortuna. Where is Anya? Could you ask the first question?
English or Slovenian?
English. Hello, my name is Anya Fortuna. I come from National Youth Council of Slovenia. National Youth Council of Slovenia is an umbrella organization of national youth organizations in Slovenia. We present the rights and interests of young people on local, national, and international level, of course, also on the European level. Besides, on advocacy, we're also educating young people on the importance of active participation on all levels. That's why we're currently working on a project called Games of Europe, where we are educating young people in high school mostly on the meaning of European citizenship, the importance of this, and the role of European Parliament. It's very important that we include all people, young people, also those with less opportunities in all levels of the society. We need to teach young people how to use their experiences and how to gain different experiences and how to include them in all levels of the society. So our question today is, what do you think that active citizenship means, and what needs to be done that young people gain different experiences and how they can use these experiences in their social life everywhere on different levels. Thank you.
We need a conference for the answer. We need a conference for the answer. I think it's very important for you to use the European instrument. Of course, the most important is Erasmus, but there is also another Erasmus for young entrepreneurs. Probably there are here many future entrepreneurs. This is also a good idea for strengthening our economy, European economy, to know the different instruments of the European Union. Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs is a very, very good project. When I was commissioner, I pushed a lot in favor of this strategy. It's more or less, Erasmus is an experience. If you want to be entrepreneur, for example, it's possible for you to go to Italy, for example, working inside a company, and then to put on the table your ideas, and then the entrepreneur will push you for a new season for you as entrepreneur. A short history. Young women coming from Finland, coming from a poor family, no money, but many ideas in design sector. Decision to participate with Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs. Okay. 6 months paid by the European Union in Milan, in a very important medium companies working in this sector. After 6 months, the leader of this small company decided this young woman is very smart. We need to help this young woman. She organized a meeting with an important companies in Finland and in Sweden, and now this young woman coming from Finland is the leader, a small company in Finland, working in the design sector, is working close to this very important company in Sweden. This is a concrete project. There are a lot of young people asking to participate in this very interesting project, Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs. But it's possible to use all the other projects that we need to know also. The instrument, the university, for example, is crucial for the most important project on innovation and research. The big package Horizon 2020. We need to push also your professors. Please, we want to participate in the most important project for innovation, for research. The universities are very, very, very important. But also, innovation is not only technological innovation, it's also innovation of the ideas, design, for example. And then to use them to explain this project is important. Europe is also opportunity. It's not only rules for the small problems. We need to change it. I totally agree with people against Europe for the 2 or 3 most important points. But to kill Europe is a mistake. And I think to have good young ambassadors explaining the success of the European Union is important. But then it's important also to work for new jobs. Unemployment is the most important point. To be unemployed 30 years very complicated. To ask to the father, the mother, please, 10 euros, 20 euros for the dinner is not good. It's a big problem. For this we need to increase the number of the young people working. But to be, for example, a small entrepreneur is a good solution because there are also here in this room young people with ideas. To be entrepreneur is a good idea. And then to be entrepreneur is also to work for the others. To be entrepreneur is also, for a young entrepreneur, it's possible also to help friends, to start with 2, 3, 4 friends. We need to work in this direction. And then your organization is important because you have a network also, I think, speaking with our civil servants is important to work through internet. For my generation, television, radio, newspaper are important, was important. But for you, most important internet than the newspaper. Nobody reads the newspaper. You use internet. But this also, your network is important if you want to contact many young people for good information. But also it's important to understand the different interests of the young people through internet. And this is good work for your organization.
Another question we noticed came from Žiga Stopinšek, who's actually president of the High School Student Organization of Slovenia. Mr. Stopinšek, please. Which language will you speak?
Gospod Tajani, lepo pozdravljeni. Kot je že Klemen povedal, moje ime je Žiga Stopinšek in sem predsednik Dijaške organizacije Slovenije. Tako da imam za vas eno vprašanje v imenu slovenskih dijakov. Slovenski dijaki predstavljajo starostno skupino od 14. do 19. leta. To vse skupaj predstavljamo približno 80,000 članov slovenske mladine. Imam pa vprašanje, ki se nanaša na volitve in volilno pravico. Po večini evropskih držav je volilna pravica nastavljena na 18 let. Tudi v Sloveniji je tako, se pravi, mladi pri nas dobijo volilno pravico z 18 letom. Na Dijaški organizaciji Slovenije smo ugotovili, da bi to znalo biti tudi problematično. V primeru Brexita smo videli, kako je recimo v Angliji starejša generacija nasprotovala ostanku Velike Britanije v Evropski uniji, mladi so pa podpirali ostanek v Evropski uniji. In zato to zna biti velik problem. No in zaradi tega smo razmišljali, da bi se mogoče tudi na nivoju Evropskega parlamenta odprla razprava, v kateri bi lahko videli tudi vaše mnenje, mnenje ostalih evropskih poslancev in da bi se na to kasneje lahko mogoče tudi na nivoju Evropske unije oziroma Evrope volilna pravica spustila na 16 let in bi se mladim dansko dala možnost, da aktivno participirajo. Saj smo tudi mnenja, da bi se lahko mogoče z nižjim nivojem volilne pravice potem spodbudila tudi participacija v Evropski uniji. Hvala.
The rules on the election of the European Parliament, the European institution, are only on the proportional system. Your question is a question for the member states, the national decisions, not European decisions. The rules for the election of the European Parliament are very clear. We need a proportional system everywhere. It's impossible to be member of the national parliament and the European Parliament. But on the implementation of these rules, and we have different rules in every country, In Italy, for example, for the European election, we need to write the name of the to write the name, not to cross the name, to write the name. It's very complicated. Our constituencies, in my constituencies, there are more than 10 million people. Regional Italy, the central Italy, Lazio, Umbria, Marche, Toscana. It's very complicated. But if you ask my personal position, I think today a young man, a young woman at 16 years old is as a young man or young woman 18 years old 20 years ago. They are changing for this, and not personally, I'm not against, but this is my personal idea. But 16 is the maximum, because we need to understand. Of course, in the United Kingdom, the young people are against Brexit. The seniors are more in favor, because they remember the United Kingdom, the Commonwealth, is another model of society, another model of the geopolitical situation. For the young people, the geopolitical situation is Europe. It's not the United Kingdom before or during the Second World War. For this, we need a better engagement of the young people. But I think if you want to change from 18 to 16, but we need also more young people strongly engaged, not only speaking on mobile phone or cars, mini cars, or stupid problems. We need, it's also our problem, our issue, but we need to also to change. Unfortunately, it's not your responsibility, but there are a lot of young people not engaged in the most important problem in politics. They prefer to speak on this. When I was young, I was engaged.
European Parliament, organized by the European Parliament Information Office here in Slovenia. And it already took like 2 times. This year we're organizing it for the 3rd time. And we're very glad to say that it was actually attended by more than 150 young people who have shown interest in the issues that European Union is dealing with and facing, and also for the functioning of the European Parliament. So for us, this is actually a proof that young people, also this attendance, that young people are interested in the European Union and future of the EU. So my question will be dealing with the future of the EU. But firstly, I'd like to say and express how glad I am that you are here with us today, that you came to Slovenia, and that you are ready to share your ideas and views with us. So thank you very much. And the future of the European Union. So it's a difficult question, difficult topic. In the light of the... Oh. In the light of the tightening rhetoric in some member states and rising extremism and also possible further exits such as Brexit, the future of the EU is very uncertain, and current events actually represent a challenge especially for the values and principles of the political processes in the European Union. So political union is at stake. And we all know that if European Union wants to preserve its position in the international community and offer its citizens at the same time prosperity and stability, it has to preserve or even deepen its political integration. So my question is, do you believe in the future EU will exist as a political union? And in order to do that, what does it have to change or do that it would not only manage to survive, but also to offer its citizens stability, prosperity, employment? And on the other hand, what can we, the young ones who are very much pro-European in Slovenia at least, and I also believe in other member states, very much pro-European, and we believe in you, what can we do to contribute to a stronger Europe? Thank you.
2 hours is okay for me. I believe in Europe, and I am European because I am Italian. And you are European because you are Slovenian. Europe is the future. Without Europe, it's impossible to compete at global level. It's impossible to have Europe as leader in the world. We will have only USA, okay, they are our best friend. We will have Russia, the interlocutor. We will have China. We will have India. We will have Africa. And for the European citizens, without Europe, it's impossible to strengthen the interest of everyone. It's impossible to compete. We need Europe. We are living a very difficult moment because we need more European leaders. There are a lot of national leaders, but we need more European leaders with a vision of the future, with a vision of the situation. Europe, of course, is not only, as I said, banks, euro, Schengen. Europe is our identity. But we need to strengthen this identity through political action. What we want to do against terrorism, what we want to do against the crisis, what we want to do against the terrorism, what we want to do in the Balkans, what we want to do in Africa, what we want to do in South America. This is the political point. We need a strategy for Europe.
The euro has created new opportunities for citizens and businesses, facilitating cross-border trade and investment, bringing price stability, expanding business opportunities, and making travel cheaper. But the crisis revealed that closer coordination of economic policy is needed to complement the euro to realize its full potential to deliver jobs, growth, social fairness, and financial stability. Closer integration is needed in 4 areas, and they all depend on each other. An economic union, in which all countries can grow more prosperous together. A financial union, so that banks, insurers, and financial markets can better serve the needs of European citizens and businesses. A fiscal union, to ensure stable and sustainable public finances. And a political union, to ensure parliaments have their say. Europe competes with the rest of the world, and our economies are interdependent. How can we ensure that all countries implement reforms so all our economies become more competitive while ensuring that social protection systems adapt to new challenges and remain fair and adequate? Households and businesses across Europe need to be served by strong banks and functional financial markets. How can we integrate our capital markets, increase funding opportunities for companies and enhance confidence in all banks, regardless of their location, while making sure that the taxpayer does not end up paying the bill in case of poor management? One country's tax and spending policies affect the others. In the interest of the euro area as a whole, how can we make our fiscal policies sustainable and responsive to economic conditions and ensure everyone abides by commonly agreed rules for healthy public finances? Economic integration also requires more collective decision-making and a unified position on the world stage. How can we give parliaments a bigger say and ensure that internationally the countries of the euro area speak with one voice? A key report by the 5 presidents of the institutions responsible for the euro sets out a vision to complete Europe's economic and monetary union. Some steps can be implemented quickly, others will take more time. By facing up to these challenges, we can ensure that our currency achieves its full potential.
Thousands and thousands. Because there is a passport, the European passport also, for the dogs and cats. Well, with the Brexit, for these people, it's impossible to go to Europe with the dog and the cat. For the seniors, without son, without family, the dog and the cat are very important. And for these people, it will be impossible to go to Europe. There are thousands and thousands and thousands every year. This is a simple example. But nobody knows in the UK the day after the Brexit. We will have problems, but also for the Brexit, it will be very difficult to go to Paris, to Vienna, without the passport. The life will be more complicated. But we need to explain to the young people, of course, we need to change. We need to decide on the most important problem. We need more unity. There is a competition with China on trade policy. There is a dumping action against our companies. But we need to react all together if we want to strengthen our company. We need European strategy. It's the only one solution if we want to survive. Without Europe, it's impossible to survive not as a person, but as a political level. If we want to compete, we need Europe. Europe not against the member states. The member states, in my opinion, are pillars of the European Union. It's complicated, but we need to explain this strategy to the citizens. And we need to start from the young people, because the young people are the future. They understand much better than other people the importance of the European Union.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Now the floor is open, so I invite everybody who has a question, I see quite a few already, to stand up and to present yourself and to have a brief and concise question as much as possible, because we are limited with time. So I saw the hand there first, then second, and then third. So please go ahead.
Okay, so in your opening,
Hello, my name is Zhiganova. My question concerns minorities. In your opening speech, you mentioned minorities being bridges between member states of the European Union. But how can that be when many minorities are many minorities' rights are not respected. We see this in the Slovenian minorities in neighboring countries like Austria and even your home country, Italy, where they have difficulties obtaining documentation with letters of their names and so on. In Austria with recent laws and so on. We also see this in Croatia with, say, the Serbian minorities, where the signs were put up, but the police did nothing to stop angry mobs from taking them down. We also see this in Estonia with the Russian minority. How does the European Union support national minorities for retaining their national identity and for retaining their language?
I suggest we take a few questions in a row, okay, online, so we have some more opportunity to then answer them together. Please go ahead. There was a gentleman in the back with a white shirt.
Hello, thank you. My name is Matej Peter. So I will refer to the size of this conversation, and I would like to know your views on this topic. So the title is Active Citizenship and the Future of EU. So we know you have been a PR officer of Mr. Berlusconi, who is arguably one of the most corrupt leaders in the EU, and you have once said about Mr. Viktor Orban that he did make some mistakes, but at least he opened a debate on migration. So I would like to know what is your view on how do you perceive active citizenship as a former Berlusconi spokesperson, and how you see the future of the EU in light of your remarks about Mr. Orban. Thank you.
The third question, please. I think I saw some question right here. Was that you? Please.
Thank you. My question is, considering the Brexit, there are some talks that citizens of the UK that are interested in British, to have European passports. Is this a viable option? So they would also be able to they want to be part of the EU, but if the country wants to go out, is there a viable option that they would still have a European passport as they wish? Thank you.
On the passport, I think this point will be one of the points of the debate between the negotiators. But I think we need to start with the decision of the UK to use the Article 70. After this, our negotiation team will work with the negotiation team of the UK. I think we need to work for a good compromise. We need to strengthen, of course, our interests, but at the same time we need to pave the way for good relations after the Brexit between the European Union and the United Kingdom, because the United Kingdom will be not member of the European Union, but will be Europe. For this, I think we need to work very well. This problem, the passport, is one of the points that fails. We need to achieve an agreement, because it's not easy, because there are a lot of points, a lot of problems on this. The problem of the passport is one of the points of the passport. On the minorities, the European Union is a guarantee for the minorities. I am against internal borders. We need to strengthen external borders. As I said, for Italian minority here, for Slovenian minority in Italy, but also for German minority in Italy, everywhere. These minorities are an opportunity for this state, because they are ready as new bridge for a better cooperation inside the European Union. Today the problem is not the nationalism. Today the problem is Europe to decide to change, to look at the past is a big mistake. In Europe, the nationalism killed a lot of people, killed Europe. We need to respect the human right. We need to respect the right to speak in mother tongue. In my cabinet, there is a member responsible for the relation with the minorities, for the far regions, and for me it is very important to strengthen the right of the minorities. To speak in mother tongue is a right, not only for the minorities, also for the other people. For this, there is European Parliament, the translation. Every language is official language, also real language. Slovenian is an official language of the European Union. We are using English or the other language because it's easier. But in the European Parliament, it's possible to speak in Slovenian or in German. There are the member of the Italian delegation speaking in German, coming from the German minority. So for this, it's possible to speak in German. I think this is, in my opinion, is normal. The nationalism is a mistake on this. To strengthen the national identity is good, but to push in favor of nationalism is a big mistake. I am a supporter of the right of the minorities. Of course, we need to respect the rules of the state. But at the same time, we need for the majority to respect the minority. But in Italy, I think, is not for the life of the minority. In Val d'Aosta, in Südtirol, I think Friuli Venezia Giulia is not very difficult. Life is normal life, I think. I know a lot of people in Trieste living very well. From the Slovenian minority, there are problems. On the last point, my history is not only the history as spokesperson of Berlusconi government. I studied at university. I was soldier for 2 years in Italian Air Force, worker and student. I was journalist for 20 years. I was the spokesperson of my party. I don't change my history. I was spokesperson of the Italian government elected by the citizens, the Italian citizens, and I was for 20 years member elected of the European Parliament. And in Italy, the citizens write the name of the candidate. I am elected not because I was in the list. I was elected by the citizens. Thousand citizens voted right every 5 years my name, right by heart, not a cross. They write my name. I was for 7 years Vice President of the European Commission. I am President of the European Parliament, elected not through an agreement between the Socialists and the EPP. I am elected before inside my party, the European People Party. I was the first, the election, secret vote. I was elected President of the Parliament by the large majority, secret vote. I decided to renounce my allowances as former commissioner, €500,000. I don't know how many commissioners coming from other parties decide the same. And as President of the Parliament, I decided to renounce to my allowances for the representation. This is my history. I'm not only the Speaker of center-right government. I have a street in my name in Gijón, Spain, because, thanks my work, there are 245 workers working now in Spain. An American multinational decided to close this company. And the unions, the left-winger party, asked to the mayor, we want to stick with the name of the commissioner. I am the same, I don't change my ideas. I am the same. And the unions, the left-winger supporter, decide to put my name in this street. I don't change my history, I don't change my idea. I am elected every time. I put my name on the table. Democracy is democracy. It's possible to leave this party or not, to support one party or another party. But democracy is democracy. I am elected every time.
Thank you very much. Last round of questions because of the time. I see the question there at the back. Then there's a lot. There's like 10 questions now. So we will have to limit it. Please be very short and concise. Please, there's a question by the door, I see. By the doors. So let's give to a few. Please, go ahead. The lady.
Good afternoon. My name is Tanya. I come from Law Faculty of Ljubljana. I have a question regarding recent announcement of Commissioner of President of Commission, Mr. Juncker, white paper. I would like to ask you, what is your take? I will be very short and briefly. What is your take on the suggestion he made with those 5 proposals, and how do you see the future in which he gave his point of view? How do you see it in those 5 strategies? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brother.
Can I take a few? So, there by the door, there was another one.
Hello, my name is Sven, and I'm from Faculty of Social Sciences. You talked a lot about Europe being strong and united, and there is this relation between the character of the citizens and the character of the regime, both affecting each other and being affected by it. So and I think that shows that a united Europe needs citizens with a strong sense of European identity. So in your opinion, what should or could the European institutions do more to achieve that goal or to proceed in that direction? Thanks.
Okay, let's go over to the other side. There's one there.
Hello, my name is Alexander Kraner. I'm from Nova Generacija, which is the youth wing of the Slovenian People's Party. I have a question about which was very similar to the one my colleague made over there. It's about the associate citizenship for citizens of the United Kingdom. And I'm just curious, how much is it actually likely this law could pass?
Okay. Can I take a few, or is that, then you can answer to what you choose, because I think there will be, please, a lady there in the middle.
My name is Sara Božanić, and I lead the Institute for Transmedia Design. At the beginning, we spoke a lot about the active citizenship and how it's important to do the Erasmus plus European Project Horizon. This is all that we do, but on the national level, we can't get support. All the doors are mainly open when we ask for the dialogue, they don't answer. So I need your advice on, when you work on the European level, how to approach the local level. Thank you.
Okay. One more? The lady back there, please. And then we have to close. I'm very sorry about this.
Hi, my name is Usha from Zavod Impact, and I'm just wondering, I hear a lot of European, but our problems, they are global, so I'm wondering what's your view on that? And you were also talking a lot about competition and leading, and you were mentioning other countries as our enemies in a way, like Russia and US, but I think that you should talk more about cooperation, and I'm still waiting for some comments on active citizenship, because I've been here for an hour and I didn't hear any content about the topic of this debate. Thank you.
On the future of the European Union, there are two questions also the strategy with the other countries inside this picture. The European Parliament, before the White Book presented 2 days ago by the Commissioner, by the President Juncker in the plenary of the European Parliament, the Parliament approved 3 very important documents on the future of the European Union. They are more ambitious. There is a strategy. It's not easy, the implementation in the next month, in the next year of this strategy, but there's a clear message in favor of the European Union. I think we need to debate on the different proposals, different scenarios presented by the Commission. As I said in the beginning, Europe is not only market, it's not only euro, it's not only banks. Europe is a strategy, is a future, is a dream, is a political engagement also for the relation with other countries, not to compete, is not to be against, but is to strengthen the rights of our citizens. There is a globalization, and for this there are different interests in the world. Every continent is working for himself. China is working a lot in China. They want to do business in China, in Africa. And for us it's important to work in Africa against poverty, in favor of growth. If we are able to reduce the poverty in Africa, we will reduce also the illegal immigration. Russia and USA. USA are our best friend in the world. The problem is not the President of the United States. The problem, the United States are our best friends every day. Now we need to know the position of the new administration. The new speech, the last speech in front of the Parliament of President Trump is a good message. Yesterday I sent a letter from the Speaker of the American Parliament. In this letter he underlined, I want to cooperate with the European Parliament. We want to cooperate with Europe. But also, the Vice President Pence, during last week, he said, we want to cooperate with Europe, we want to cooperate inside NATO organization. My declaration was very strong against the position of this candidate as an ambassador of the United States, because the Parliament was totally against. It's impossible to be ambassador in Europe if you want to destroy Europe. Europe is not USSR. But now I am very happy for the letter of the Speaker of the House, of the American Parliament. The message is very clear in this letter. on Russia. Russia is a very important country in the world. We want to cooperate with Russia, but we need to respect international law. The problem is not from Europe. The problem is from Russia. Pacta sunt servanda. It's very clear. We need to respect international law. This is a clear message to Mr. Putin and to Russia. It's not our problem. We are strengthening our borders. We are strengthening our rights. We need to understand in Russia. We need to respect international law. This is very simple. We need to respect international law. We need to respect the agreement. This is the point. It's very clear that we want to live in peace. We want to strengthen peace. We want to strengthen freedom. When there is an election is a danger for us. We need to react. This is the point. On the UK, this is the same problem. We need to study during the agreement between our team and the UK team. I don't know if it's possible to achieve this goal. It's important also to know the British position. I am in favor of the Brexit without without Brexit is Brexit. I hope in the United Kingdom that they want to do the same. I have a meeting with Mrs. May next week during the European Council. I will be very clear. We are not against the UK. If they want to leave Europe, it's the UK decision. But to be member of the European Union is not the same to be outside of the European Union. We have different rights. But it's important. We need to pave the way for good relations with the UK. The UK is a big democracy, is important democracy, is important. We've been important interlocutor of the European Union. This is important to work not in favor and not against. Our engagement is to strengthen the rights of the European citizens in front of the UK. And then for the other points, we are in favor of the good relation, but it's important to understand, to be member of the European Union is not the same to be outside the European Union.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. We are out of time and your schedule is very, very tight. So I would like to thank you, but first of all, for all the questions that we saw, and I saw from here that you have, be assured we will have a lot of more events, also because you attended today's event, so such a big number, with our members of European Parliament from Slovenia, so you can discuss all these issues as we have done so far. So your questions can be posed in the next meetings as well. I would like to thank you, Mr. President, for being with us today, for choosing among all the official visits to meet the young people, as you told me, to organize. As the future of the EU, you saw their interest, you see they want to be active citizens, and thank you for choosing also Slovenia among the first countries to come to visit. Thank you.